Hello, and welcome to ASQ Quality Management Division's video learning series. Our presentation today is on Net Promoter Scores. This is brought to you in support of Customer Focus, one of the main sections of the ASQ Certified Manager Quality Organizational Excellence body of knowledge. Together with over 50,000 individual and organizational members around the world, ASQ provides training, professional certifications, and knowledge to a vast network of quality professionals and those seeking excellence through quality. My name is Doug Wood. Today we're going to talk about what is Net Promoter Score, why would you use it, how would you use it, when to use it, and some example information about it. This video covers 3 items. We will understand NPS, we will see what it's good for, and we will provide further sources to study it. In any information gathering work, you need to ask the right questions to get a good answer. Bain, a management consulting firm, struggled to ask questions that go beyond immediate financials. Bain decided that customer loyalty was a key to sustainability and did research to find the right questions to ask. Now, while it's true that some businesses do not require referrals, this is what Bain found. The question, how likely is it that you would recommend Company X to a friend or colleague, was the key question, the number one question. It looks at purchasing intention. It helps gauge, again, overall satisfaction and the ease of doing business with a firm. It says that the company understands them and either shares their principles or, in some cases, does not. A 0 to 10 scale was used to allow survey subjects to provide a clear indication of their feelings. 0 was included to truly capture the worst emotional reactions. It should be noted that there are some researchers who feel that 5 and 6, listed here as detractors, may also be in the passives group. In their research, Bain found some problems with traditional market research studies, notably with clarity, defining the size of the problem, and handling the scope of management overview. Looking at clarity, survey questions must make intuitive sense to frontline employees. The organization needs to use closed-loop learning for improvement in daily operations. The research and results should not be relegated to the market research department. When looking at this problem size and scope, Bain's research showed that the average firms have about 66% of customers that are either passive or actively detracting. Now that was average. In other words, these customers are either bored or angry. In a small business, the owner knows how customers are thinking and feeling. However, in a larger business, top managers focus on expenses and revenues due to a need for financial control. The relationship between customer retention and new customer uptake metrics are confusing. Also, customer satisfaction and customer behavior are not closely linked. Now, this is based on correlations of market data. In business-to-business relationships, permission is asked before starting the survey. NPS helps due to universality. Today, NPS is a go-to metric for angel investors and venture capitalists, and major brands globally. This makes benchmarking easier. Simplicity. Most surveys are too long. Long surveys make sense to generate reports, but not to guide behaviors. Other survey problems are that most surveys use the researcher's language, not the customer's language. This means they're subject to misinterpretation by the survey taker. They often survey the wrong people at the wrong time. A key part of survey is timing. For transactional work, that is more tactical and short-term, timing is indeed important. If the survey purpose is for longer-term strategic data, timing is less important. You can say that the timing of the survey is context sensitive. Internal relatability. NPS may lack some statistical sophistication, but it is easily understood by all employees. To build a customer-obsessed culture, you need to share results and comments regularly in a straightforward fashion. NPS drives focused action if 3 steps are followed. If a customer responds with a low score, take immediate action to resolve the issue. It helps to ask, why this rating? What can be done to improve? This will help to guide your action. Secondly, you need to nurture high scorers, to post reviews and refer their friends. And third, you need to identify and act on the pain points and bright spots across your channels, teams, and customer journey. So NPS can be a touchstone for engaging your workforce. Let's look at some possible results and how respondents' answers create Net Promoter Score. First, here's an example from a merely good firm. See what we have here? We have the questions from 0 to 10, and we have the percentage of customers who are actually answering in those various categories. When we look over here at the right, we see that 50% answered 9 or 10, 28% answered 7 or 8, and the remaining 0 through 6, 22% have answered that way. So the NPS becomes 50, the top box, minus 22, the bottom one, or 28. Next, let's look at great and weak examples. Now note the NPS may become negative, even with some top responses. When we look at the NPS for the great firm, we see the top 2, 9 and 10s total 65%. And the bottom 6 categories totals 10%. So our score is 55. Recall that on the moderate firm, the middle firm we just saw, it was 28. Now let's take a look at the weak firm over here. So 30% answered 9 or 10. Those people were very happy. However, 50% answered 0 through 6. Even though more people answered at the top end than at the bottom, 30 minus 50 leaves us with a negative 20 Net Promoter Score. Now let's see where these 3 distributions look like in a chart form. The colors on this chart illustrate good, great, and weak. Orange is the good firm, the one we started with. The green is the great firm. And the red is the weak firm. So what we're seeing on here are percentages of participants that are answering at each of the 11 levels. Okay, now how do these 3 examples stack up as NPS scores? What's notable on this chart is how the NPS scores themselves help discriminate between great, good, and weak. Example 1 is the good firm, the moderate one. Example 2 is the green firm, in other words, the really top-notch firm. And example 3 is the weak firm. So you see the 9s or 10s aren't 0 on any of them. However, there's a strong difference between the weak and the great and the moderate firm. Next, how can we use Net Promoter Score? First, recognize that the actions taken for a particular customer depends on their standing. Detractors need an apology or refund. The details of why they said that can help you with root cause investigation. Your investigations need to teach you what would change a detractor to a promoter. Promoters, on the other hand, should be asked why to find best practices, to provide referrals that drive profitable growth, and to allow learning on how large is the lifetime value of a promoter. And finally, the passives. You need to find out what they're about. Ask them, why the lukewarm response? This kind of follow-up gives you actionable information. So if customer relationships are the lifeblood of your organization's future, shouldn't they receive a decent amount of resources to collect, analyze, and share? Here are some principles to guide your NPS usage. Continuing data flow is what we use to guide things over time, but understand your customer's level of survey fatigue. Keep the survey as short as possible. Don't burden survey takers. Changing scales will confuse everyone. Use the 11-point scale, specifically designed by NPS. Top-down means that executive level comparisons with outsiders, and bottom-up means practical information for internal people responding to customers. Top-down surveys need three things: ask the right customers, getting candid answers, and decent sample sizes. Bottom-up surveys look at transactions. They're very time sensitive, and they're designed for closed-loop action to be taken. E-surveys have a much better response than mailed surveys, but remember to gain proportional responses from representative customers. A measure seen less often will be regarded as less important. Financials are not more important than customer understanding. Also, data collected must have enough detail about customer segments, product lines, and usage situations to allow accountability and practical use. Every measure may get gamed, so auditing your processes help with accuracy. You need to make sure correct actions follow the scores. How do you know when NPS is called for? Well, do any of these situations happen in your organization? Are existing metrics confusing? How about your existing customer metrics? Are they correlating well with your performance? Are your improvement initiatives not connecting with customers? Do you need to compare with other organizations? And are you looking beyond transactions and trying to focus on relationship building? Here are some deep cautions. Conflict of interest is bad. Does this even need to be said? Since everything uses IT, they must be involved. Do not confuse NPS with individual employee measures, and understand that some cultures tend to rate higher or lower, regardless of actual performance. So be sure to compare apples to apples, culturally speaking. NPS should not be implemented lightly. Here are some questions to see what level of understanding is in place, especially for top leadership. What % of your customers receive an NPS survey at least once per year? How many respond? What % of your revenues do these customers account for? What % of detractors do you contact for follow-up within 48 hours? What fraction of detractors who are contacted are happy with the results? How many employees know your current NPS? Do they know your target? And do they know the one change most important for them as a result? What is the difference in lifetime value between a promoter and a detractor in your key customer segments? What is your most important initiative for creating promoters? And what will this initiative cost you for each new promoter? Why is NPS so hard? Well, there's some deeper hurdles to overcome. Prepare for crossing these barriers. Financial systems work against NPS in areas of budgeting, resource allocations, rewards, and bonuses. And if it's a new metric, many managers will fear looking at it because they don't know how well they're going to show up. So in short, here are our 3 keys. Senior leadership must see this as mission critical, economically, inspirationally, and morally. Secondly, NPS feedback must be tied to decisions up and down the organization. And third, the leaders and the whole organization must see NPS as a long process of cultural growth. Now, where can you go for further study? Thank you for viewing this video. For more information, to further explore the Certified Quality Manager body of knowledge, look at ASQ's My ASQ. With individual and organizational members around the world, ASQ has a reputation and reach to bring together the diverse quality champions who are transforming the world's corporations, organizations, and communities to meet tomorrow's critical challenges. Again, we want to remind you, if you are an ASQ member, be sure to sign up for My ASQ. This link here will take you to the Quality Management Division My ASQ site. The Quality Management Division thanks you